Get it, Marge? It's Chinatown!
Hey everybody, welcome back to What the Hell Happened to Them? Jack Attacks the Cast. That's right, I am your host, Patrick Scahill, and joining me on the line is a nosy guy, Joe Veckman.
I'm nosy.
And on the audio boards is Lev Van Rensselaer reminding me to remind you that you can email the cast at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com. And a special guest this week, I think for the first time in 2 seasons, Mr. Paul Geremini.
I have returned.
Were you on for Julia Roberts at all?
Yes, I did Conspiracy Theory.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then it hasn't been that long. Though I guess that was kind of early in her career.
I think that was like late last year.
I have the date.
You have the date?
No, I don't have the date, Chad.
Right.
October or November.
That's fine. We're happy to have you back anyway, as you and Bob are neck and neck with most podcast appearances. You got to keep racing each other.
Yeah, but have people been clamoring for me or for Bob?
People like all our guests, except for one, I won't say.
We recorded Conspiracy Theory around September 13th last year, so.
That's been a while. Oh, wow. We're especially happy to have you back for this movie. Joe, what movie is it?
Chinatown.
That's right. And what happens in this movie? No spoilers.
Wait, no spoilers.
No spoilers.
Private Eye, Jake Gittes, lives off of the murky moral climate of sun-baked pre-World War II Southern California. Hired by a beautiful socialite to investigate her husband's extramarital affair, Gittes is swept into a maelstrom of double dealings and deadly deceits, uncovering a web of personal and political scandals that come crashing together.
Yeah? Well, sounds like what happened to me.
It's much better than the other one I saw.
Oh, yeah? There were multiple synopses?
Synopsis? Yeah. Do you want to hear the other one?
Yeah, give me the other one.
It's so bland.
Unless it's got spoilers.
A private detective hired... A private detective hired to expose an adulterer in the 1930s Los Angeles finds himself caught up in a web of deceit, corruption, and murder.
It sounded somewhat similar, but yeah, the other one had more words.
It did have more words.
It had more words. That's true.
Let me get this out of the way. Guys. Budget was $6 million.
Is that a lot for a 70s film?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, once you start getting up to like 10 or 15, that's a lot more. But like, this is a big production. This is a big director, big stars. $6 million.
Big screenwriter.
It's smart.
Robert Towne having himself a good couple years here.
I know. It made $29.2 million at the box office.
You know what's crazy? That feels kind of low.
It is, but it's
maybe
also
tickets
like...
were like $4 back then, so, you know.
You couldn't upsell anybody on 3D.
$4? No, they were like maybe $1, maybe 25 cents. They're so cheap back then.
Jeez, what a world. And popcorn was like a nickel.
It was the 80s when everything got fucked up. This is right before Jaws. This is when tickets were cheap.
Yeah, we all blame Jaws for many things.
Well, we love Steven Spielberg, but we do blame Jaws for ruining most of the movie stuff.
Yeah, so might this be, so far, the most perfect Jack Nicholson role?
Yeah, no, I love this movie.
We got a world-weary, smarmy, semi-arrogant, streetwise PI. It's like tailor-made for him.
I want to read you a review right now. I don't know if this counted as a blockbuster when it premiered, but all modern ones should aspire to this. Magnetic stars acting tremendously and believably. Well-paced and plotted script, subtle directing, deep themes worth revisiting. It's cool, it's fun, it's weighted. Do you know who said that?
No.
You don't know who said that?
Do I know? You said that just now.
You wrote that in 2019.
Oh, wow. Wise words. And you know, I still agree with me.
I agree with you too. That's why I wanted to read it to you.
Yeah, I was thinking this movie, one, wow, this movie's fucking cool, which I have so rarely thought in a movie. But two, why isn't Hollywood making these movies anymore? Like, these are what I want out of my Hollywood films. This would be awesome. You do this, you get me all the time. Here's my thought. Here are my thoughts on why we don't do this anymore. We don't know what good movies are anymore. We don't know.
Yeah, it's confusing.
And that's not just like executives. That's us, an audience too. We just don't know what's good. We just know things we're familiar with, or we know stars. So that's all we do. Of course, this movie would come out in the time period that it did. This movie was ripe for being made and seen in the 70s, with the Vietnam War era going out, with people losing trust in their political institutions, with people feeling like they were making the same mistakes over and over again, or they knew what the wrong thing was but couldn't get out of it anyway. And they like people feeling that they had no control and were at the mercy of political institutions they couldn't understand or comprehend. And my thought is, we're in this moment now. We feel this way now, just general national malaise. And what I get now is not Chinatowns. I get a bunch of superhero movies. Get out of here. Give me some Chinatowns.
Take one Chinatown, please. Over, what was a Thor? A Thor?
Yeah, no Thor 4s, please. Give me more Chinatowns.
We've had a Thor 4, so.
Yeah, nobody wanted it. Thank God.
Well, I mean, they did, I guess, because they made a lot of money.
And why everybody turned on Taika Waititi in like 5 seconds. Didn't take long.
Never really liked him.
To your point on why we don't make movies like this anymore, yeah. I think this movie requires a pretty close attention. You know, it's kind of a curvy and twisty plot, and it does a good job of keeping track of where everything is and what the characters are doing. But if you zone out for a little bit, I think you could get easily lost, which sort of in the modern cinema world, I think people are pretty afraid of losing the audience.
And I counter that with, hey, we can go see the movie again because it's so cheap.
It's these stupid cell phones. Well, if they're going to be looking at their cell phone half the time, let's just remind them all every moment what's going on.
I got one more talking point that I really want to bring up. So this movie was nominated for 11 Academy Awards.
As it should
be. Do you know how many it won?
Hopefully it's more than 2.
It's not.
I knew it.
It's a tough year. It was nominated for 11 Academy Awards alongside The Godfather Part 2.
Yeah. Oh no. And then the conversation.
Yeah. But it was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor and Actress, Best Original Screenplay, which it won. It's one Oscar. It won Robert Towne the Best Original Screenplay.
Lost out to Towering Inferno on Best Cinematography, though?
Listen, Towering Inferno's got fire.
It's hard to beat that.
Yeah, this script is tight. They even bring back, like, they get to the guy from the client from the beginning of the movie who's got to drive everybody down to Mexico, and I go, holy shit. Everything's like it just, the script is like an ant. It could carry 1,000 times its weight. My goodness, the script.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was really impressed how everything hung together. It never felt like there was a word out of place. It always felt very natural, despite describing the plot pretty well.
Yeah, and for such a twisty-turny plot, nothing feels left dangling, nothing feels contrived, nothing feels lazy or stupid. It just is a good script. My God, goodness, it's been so long since we've seen a script like this.
Well, I mean, I guess it was a couple of years because I really liked 5 Easy Pieces.
I think a lot of that, though, isn't in the script. You know, that's that type of movie where they're like, yeah, we'll figure this out as we go. But I would be surprised if there's much improving happening in Chinatown.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Best Actor that year. Jack Nicholson was nominated. Al Pacino for The Godfather Part 2. Dustin Hoffman as Lenny Bruce. Albert Finney in Murder on the Orient Express. And the winner, though, that year, Art Carney for Harry and Tonto.
I bet I wish they could take that back.
I mean, has anyone seen Harry and Tonto? What is the lasting legacy of that movie?
Yeah, what are the 5 Best Picture movies this year? Because we've named 3 of them, and it's already a crowded field.
The Best Picture field, Godfather Part 2, Chinatown, The Conversation, Lenny, and The Towering Inferno.
Wow, Lenny.
I've watched Lenny very recently for the Bob Fosse miniseries that Blank Check did. I didn't like Lenny. I know people like Lenny. But The Towering Inferno...
Do you know what?
That's just because it's like a one of those like all-star casts.
Yeah, in the 70s, I buy it because there was this big new spectacle-y thing. You know, it's the Ocean's 11 of its day.
Yeah. It's just funny. 2 out of the 5 movies are Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah. We have Francie having a good year there.
Very good year.
Pretty good year, some would say. Yeah, that's a tough movie to be a Best Picture contender.
Do you want to know the director category that year?
Sure.
Yeah, so Francis Ford Coppola finally got his directing Oscar over Bob Fosse because Fosse won in the first Godfather year.
Yeah.
So he won it over Roman Polanski, Francois Truffaut, Bob Fosse for Lenny, and John Cassavetes.
Oh my God, that's also a stacked crew of directors. That's a who's who of famous world directors. All right, so we brought Mr. Geremini on because he's a big noir fan. What do you like about the noirs, Mr. Geremini?
I like the grounded nature of them. In a lot of action films, it's sort of over the top, but the noir film has a sort of gritty realism to it, and this is, of course, sort of a really great example of it. Like, there are a couple fights in this film, and they're not sort of the slick Jason Bourne style. They're the oldish men are grappling and just doing whatever they can to survive. And I think that's pretty emblematic of the noir genre in sort of all aspects.
Yeah, noirs are a lot about futility and kind of have a fatalist bent to them. And so their protagonists usually, they're not these kind of powerful figures. They're down on their luck or they're making bad mistakes. This movie sort of really ratchets it up where Jack Nicholson the whole time has no idea what's going on despite his and our assuredness that he does. The film also coming out, long after the noir heyday, gets to take advantage of some tropes. Like, I think it utilizes to a newer audience the femme fatale to its advantage. It just feels for so long like it has to be her, like it could only be her, but all the little mannerisms and things they're doing with her are really to trick us, but yet are rooted in the reveal that we do get. Smart script. I don't know if I've said that before.
I've got some little tidbits on that script. The original script was more than 180 pages and included a narration by Giddies. Polanski cut and reordered the stories so the audience and Giddies unraveled the mysteries at the same time. Good idea.
Oh, wow. Thank God. The narration makes sense. That was a noir staple. Somebody narrating after the fact everything that happened.
So my question would be, though, so what's being nominated? Is it the original script, the 180-page script, or is it the script that we see on screen?
It's probably that script.
The 180 pages one?
No. The one that's closer to the movie.
Okay. Because I'm just saying, it's like Polanski should have a little bit of credit there. If he's cutting out that much, because you're cutting out a whole hour, basically, and then you cut all the narration out. Those are big changes. I don't know. You should get a little credit for that.
Yeah, I wonder how the Writers Guild will feel about that.
How do you even nominate a script? You just put it in the mail?
Yeah, so what would happen is a studio or an agent would send them out to Academy voters. Most people don't read them and go from there.
Most people don't read them.
Well, they see the movie.
Yeah, they see the movie. And you can tell. I don't know. There are a lot of movies where I could tell I'm like, this script is bad, but the directing's cover for it. Or I go, wow, this script's actually putting in some work and holding up this movie. I don't know. You can kind of be like, okay movie, but really good script. You can kind of feel it out.
Jane Fonda was strongly considered for the role that Faye Dunaway took, but Polanski wanted Faye Dunaway.
Faye Dunaway feels more socialite-y to me than Jane Fonda. She has that air about her.
I agree. I like Jane Fonda.
No one's saying Jane Fonda's bad.
Is this the first time Jack Nicholson has been top billed, or has he been top billed in other films?
He's been top billed before. Once Easy Rider happened in 1969, a lot more starring roles came his way. So it's not been an issue for him the last 4 years. The thing that's changed is that his output has decreased. Now that he has to, spend more time shooting starring roles, he doesn't get to be in as many movies.
I have a couple quick hits on this film.
Give me the hits, Mr. Geremini.
41 minutes in, Jack Nicholson gets blasted with water.
I know. I saw that, and I was like, Mr. Geremini's favorite. No wonder he loves this movie.
I'm a huge fan of watching people get blasted with water. This film also sneakily very funny, in my opinion.
Yeah?
Like when he's telling that joke about the Chinese man.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
When he goes back to his office.
Yeah.
Just great sort of visual work selling that joke.
Yeah, what did that young, sexy reviewer say? Subtle directing?
That young, sexy reviewer.
Yeah. He sounded so chiseled. My goodness.
Certainly young.
Yeah. Just let me throw this in here. The mortician's name, talking about all the bodies with water in their lungs, his name is Morty. Morty the mortician. Maybe there was one spot where the script was a bit lazy.
No, that's fun.
You can't win them all.
Let's be a little cheeky. John Huston.
Great casting.
He's good.
It's a good way, too, if you want to have, like, this feel of, like, old Hollywood royalty. Casting famous director John Huston of the 50s and 40s seems like a good choice.
I have an important diversion in relation to this film.
Go for it.
I think we need to talk about Jack Nicholson's hair.
Long, beautiful hair, shining, gleaming, steaming, flax and waxing. Give me down to there, shoulder length longer. Here, baby, there, mama, everywhere, daddy, hair.
And the fact that it's steadily retreating.
I brought this up last week.
It kind of fits this character, too, though.
It does. I agree.
Like, he sort of looks clean, but then you notice it's just like a peak and it's retreating on the edges.
Yeah.
It always worked for him. I liked his hairline, like, at all times. It gets really good in, like, the 80s when he's just like, I'm getting old now. I'm 50 now.
So you think his hairline will improve in future films?
No, he's just saying he wears it better. Is that what you're saying? Or, like, it's... I don't know, he's owning it
Grows
more.
into it.
Yeah, like, it works with him, like, doing psychotic things. Like, the Joker, great hairline for the Joker. Shining, great hairline for, like, Madness guy. Wolf, we'll get to Wolf.
Yeah, I've not heard of Wolf. I don't know what we're getting there.
A Mike Nichols movie.
Hey, all right.
You've never heard of Wolf?
Never heard of Wolf.
I'm gonna leave you with three things about Wolf.
Yeah.
Mike Nichols, Jack Nicholson, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Ooh, I'm a Pfeiffer fan. Let's do it. Let's go.
Wolf. You want to know the date? I think it's like 94 it comes out.
Oh, wow, really? Well, that feels like Pfeiffer's realm, 94.
Yeah. Jack Nicholson is present in every scene of this film. Awesome. Screenwriter Robert Towne was originally offered $125,000 to write the screenplay for The Great Gatsby, but Towne felt he could do a better than F. Scott Fitzgerald novel and accepted $25,000 to write his own story, Chinatown, instead.
Yeah, I would say better than an F. Scott Fitzgerald novel.
Yeah, he said, fuck that.
Another Great Gatsby film.
Mr. Scahill, as an LA native, did you recognize any of the scenes? Like their locations?
I recognize the names of all the locations, but certainly doesn't look the same. There aren't too many.
Yeah. So it was like 50
other than
years
these
later.
orchards, I don't think they're on locations anyway. So.
Oh, yeah, I definitely noticed some like matte paintings in the back.
Yeah.
Like for the evening sets. Those were fun.
Yeah, which is also a good way to harken back to that older type of filmmaking, too. You could do a lot of location shooting by the time the mid-'70s came around with relative ease, but they went for the old style. It's kind of nice. You know, the noir, neo-noir things happening here. Jack Nicholson doesn't want justice. He just is mad at the bad guys and wants to sue them or get vengeance or settle a petty grievance. So there's that. There's a car horse chase scene. Kind of a funky twist on an old classic.
I have to say, I love that car chase shot where you're just behind Jack Nicholson in the car.
I wish they'd been able to sustain it more, but it's good. It was sort of an easy setup to shoot. Didn't have to have like 80 shots for your 2-minute sequence. They had like 4 or 5. And another moment where he doesn't really have any power and he's always a step behind. It's sort of emblematic as the plot of a whole for poor Jack Nicholson.
And to my earlier point, not exactly a smooth, clean getaway.
Nope. Nicholson just, good enough at his job, but not able to kind of hang with the big guys when push came to shove. A very noir and 70s theme. And lastly, the protagonist is handcuffed during the final shootout and doesn't offer too much. There's not like a big climax there. It's just a couple of minor characters fire some bullets and then the movie's over.
Oh my God, do I love this ending. And also, Jack Nicholson said to the public that he did not like the ending.
Bad move, Jack.
He's like the only one.
Yeah, the ending's awesome.
Ending's great. Joe, I don't know if you remember, we got to see this in the theater.
I was your review was from that day we saw it in the theater.
I assumed you remember that we went to the theater, but I don't know if you remember when we were at the theater, when the big reveal happens, visible gasps from the audience that had clearly not seen this movie before. Like, the movie still hits. This movie still lands for new people. It's awesome.
Best ending of a Jack Nicholson film?
It's a really good. It's a really strong ending.
There's a lot of contention for that. There's so many good endings with Jack.
It's one of the better endings in cinema. Just period.
I mean, I'm so strongly with 5 Easy Pieces right now. Still, that's still sitting with me. Like what we saw it like a month ago.
Yeah, it's another good ending. That's another good Jack ending. It's a smart ending too. Weirdly enough, I think if your movie's plot based, getting a good ending is harder. So I give a little more credit to Chinatown. I think it's just so hard to land the plane correctly in a plot movie, and when you can do it, I'm always impressed.
I believe we also have a good ending coming up in a couple of weeks with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
That's a good ending. Passenger's a good ending. Antonioni knowing how to end a film. My goodness. Jack Nicholson's in some good movies coming up. Surprise, surprise, everybody.
Surprise, surprise.
70s was a good decade for films, except for Lenny. Who would have thought?
Do you think he's turned the page where he's mostly in good films now, or is there still some clunkers to come?
I imagine we're in the, peak. This is the thing that's going to let us be like, what the hell happened to him?
Are we already going to have that debate? Like, when do you think it really turns? Because I don't think it turns until,
That's what we're going to find out. That's part of the fun.
And even in the mid-90s, you still get some good stuff in there.
I'm dubious of things going down in the 80s.
It's so spare, though.
I know, but what a bad film decade. I can only imagine he's got some bad ones in there. And we're going to compare them to, his body of work from the 70s decade, and we're going to be like, what, Jack, what are you doing here? But really, it's like, what happened to Hollywood? Oh, Sabermetrics, or their equivalent, the Blockbuster. Joe, Mr. Germany brought up Jack Nicholson getting sloshed around in some water, and I'm like, do you think Jack Nicholson was having Vietnam flashbacks of being in the Terror? Just water pouring all over him. They're like, why did this take 9 months to shoot this sequence?
Stupid river scene. Yeah, mate. Oh, God. But when his nose gets cut, that is one of the most visceral things I've seen in
I know,
quite some
and it's
time.
so small. It feels like a small crime, but it feels a lot bigger than just watching people get punched a lot.
They are so good with making sure that you see his nose is just ruined for the rest of the movie. It's all stitched up and gross looking.
That's another noir-ish thing where they're like, yeah, we got our sexy Hollywood actor, but big old fucking bandage on his nose. And big old scar there afterwards.
It's so hideous.
But let me tell you, fedora, sunglasses, Band-Aid, it's a good look.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, could you they would? I don't think they would do that today because they're like, you can't do that to the moneymaker. People are coming to see the sexy face. You can't obscure that on your star.
To put, say what you will about the movie, but it's a much smaller film. Ryan Gosling will fuck his face up for movies.
Yeah, that's true. But Ryan Gosling's also picking better movies, usually.
I'm talking does he get hit in Drive? But I know in Only God Forgives, his face gets fucked up.
So there's the converse, right? Hollywood's like, we don't want our stars looking bad. But every now and then, stars are like, if we look bad in a movie, though, we'll get an Oscar. Like Charlize Theron in Monster.
Oh, God. Yeah. That's so crazy that's her, Oscar. I feel like she's been better in other things. Wow, Peter Bogdanovich turned down the chance to direct. He later regretted his decision. If this movie came out after the Polly Platt, right? That's his producer for a while. Then have him stay so far away from this fucking movie. I'm so scared to watch any Peter Bogdanovich post Polly Platt because I was really enjoying it. I liked Targets. I liked What's Up, Doc. I liked The Last Picture Show. And then I feel like it's as soon as he gets with Sybil Shepherd, that's where it goes downhill, right? That's what I've heard.
But I wonder if he only saw the 180-page script with the narration, and he was like, meh.
Oh, you think that's why he turned it down? He's like,
if
too long.
Polanski's the one changing a lot of these things, then it would make sense that was the one getting shopped around to directors. And Polanski's like, fine, but I want to change these things. And Robert Towne's like, whatever, I'm a screenwriter. I don't have any power.
John Huston was offered the chance to direct this movie, but he decided that he did not want to. He's like, I'd rather be the third build star.
He's like, I'm old. I'm tired.
Probably just direct. He was not doing too much around then, right?
Is this where Jack meets Angelica?
Yes. I saw something about that, and I will get... Angelica Huston, who is dating Jack Nicholson and was the daughter of John Huston, brought her sister Allegra Huston to meet on the set to meet Jack. In the book, she wrote, Allegra and said that Angelica kept her away from their father since he was playing the bad guy, and she was only about 10. But yes, they were just starting to date around this movie.
Yeah, I like the noir twos, Mr. Jeremini. I went through a big noir phase. I was working on writing a noir script. I sadly, by the time it was finished, I was like, aha. And then I was like, oh no, this is just small town Chinatown.
Little Chinatown.
I've been revising it ever since to change it up enough and make it feel different. But yeah, the noirs always captured my attention. I like the way people speak in noirs. I like the weird Chandler Marlowe, Raymond Chandler type of...
Philip Marlowe, yeah.
Raymond Chandler, Philip Marlowe, weird dialect, the pidgin language there, the idioms. It's just kind of fun. It's got a good cadence. We're like, oh, we can't talk about these things in films, so we got to make them all playfully double entendres.
Oh, here you go. This is the 15th highest grossing film of 1974. So yeah, 29 million. That's pretty good for that era time.
Yeah.
15th highest. Not bad. Mike Nichols was offered the chance to direct. Apparently everyone in Hollywood who was a name was offered to direct this fucking movie.
And they're like, who's that guy that did Repulsion? I guess we'll get him, see what he can do.
Rosemary's Baby!
Rosemary.
Come on! That's the big
I
fucking
see you're too
movie
good for
made before
Repulsion
this.
there, Joe. Wow.
No, I like that. I've actually seen that. I like that movie.
This is a good movie. Roman Polanski, surprise, surprise, good director.
Yeah, it's just hard to talk about him, right?
Yeah, not a great dude, but good director.
Yeah, so this is the second film directed by Roman Polanski to be entirely filmed in the United States following Rosemary's Baby. Polanski had moved to the United States in 1968, but mostly filmed projects outside this country. And then he would do that for the rest of his life very soon.
Well, good. Yeah.
Roman Polanski has said that the dark ending to the film was a result of his own despair following the murder of his wife, Sharon Tate.
But it works for the theme, and like the script is setting it up. And maybe he went back and added those lines, but you know, Jack Nicholson says to Curly, "Hey, let sleeping dogs lie," and you know, advice he doesn't take himself. And then he says, and then Noah Cross says to him, "You think you know what you're dealing with, but you don't." And Jack Nicholson then says, the district attorney in Chinatown used to say that to me, haha. And then his cop friend's like, "You never learned, do you, Jake?" And Jake says, "I guess not." And it's this fatalism, making the same mistakes. In the backstory that we get a glimmer of, he tried to help this woman and ended up making things way worse. And he's done the same thing here. And it's a movie about failure, right? It's a movie about the little guy not having control over his destiny and truth being obscured by those in power and everybody being a step behind. I don't know, like it makes sense. It does feel it's fitting. Even the note about Faye Dunaway having the little black dot in the eye, which she calls a birth defect, the eye she's gonna get a bullet through by the end of the film.
Spoilers.
Right? Yeah, spoilers. Watch out, everybody. That itself is just like she was marked by death from birth. Like that eye always had the hole in it. It's a very noir thing, but it's also very fitting for the 70s. And when you have all this setup, your movie kind of has to end this way, right? That's the whole point.
It's so violent how it ends. It's like, it had to be so jarring at the time.
And yet all the violence is off screen.
Yeah, but like, well, you see a little bit of her head, like kind of like caved in from the bullet.
I would call that gory, but like at the same time, like it's not accentuating it. It's just like there at the bottom of the screen in a very busy frame. A young girl is like screaming her head off, and a car horn's going on. There's great sound design in that scene too.
Does the camera change to like handheld at that point? Because it feels like we're really up close to like the people, like we're right in the people's faces, and everything's like moving around so quickly.
Yeah, I don't know if it's handheld, but it is moving to kind of this sort of mini oneer. It's like, basically the whole cast is crowding around this car at the end, and everybody's kind of getting dispersed one by one.
And then this little guy comes out and he's like, "Forget it, it's Chinatown."
That's another thing, right? Like, hey, this is just where shit goes down. Like, it's a shitty place where shitty things happen. Like, you shouldn't have expected anything else.
I keep seeing a little trivia fact that says this movie takes place in 1937, and Jack Nicholson was born in 1937. And I'm like, yep.
He was destined to be in the film.
He was destined to be in a movie. Yeah, he's incredible in this. He should have beat Art Carney.
I think a lot of those people should have beaten Art Carney. Like Carney, Al Pacino not beating Art Carney.
I mean, that's why we get what is.
That's
what is
just
it?
like, look, old TV star having himself a good Hollywood film. Crazy.
I don't even know who Art Carney is.
He was in The Honeymooners.
Oh, so he wasn't just a TV star at that. Like,
I mean,
for a
he did
while.
other things too, but it's just like, oh, this guy's been kicking around forever and he's got himself an Oscar-worthy role. Let's just give it to him. Like, this is a good success story here.
I'm wondering what would be like the equivalent to that now. Just imagine like 4 very worthy, like ready to get their moment actors in these movies and then you just got like fucking like Tim Allen comes in, he's like, my Oscar.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because you'd be like, damn, we didn't know Tim Allen could act.
Tim Allen's acted before. He's Buzz Lightyear. He's the Santa Claus.
That's it. That's the moneymaker.
He's Tim Taylor.
Yeah, Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Galaxy Quest.
You know what? That's
whatever his character's name is in that. Mm-hmm.
You got his name?
No, no one knows. It's Tim Allen, Alan Rickman, Tony Shalhoub. That's their characters' names.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver.
It's a stacked cast.
Yeah, actually, pretty good cast. Not a bad movie either.
Jerry Goldsmith was nominated for Best Score. Best Dramatic Score. Do you remember when they used to have dramatic and comedic scores in the Oscars? Way back when in the Oscars, they used to have Best Original Dramatic Score and Best Original Comedic Score. Yeah,
I'm glad they stopped doing that, especially since a lot of comedic scores just aren't good. They're just not good.
It's just funny. It's like, what makes it a comedic score? Is it just like a lot of like bells and whistles in it?
It's a score in a comedy movie. Yeah.
I know that, but
you didn't know. You're welcome.
Only one for The Omen in 1977. So we had picture, director, actor, actress, original screenplay, art direction, cinematography, costume design, film editing, original score, and best sound. All nominated, the one for screenplay.
All right, we're going to take a little break, do a rock watch.
I was a rock watcher.
All right.
We do not have a Young Rock this week because it was Thanksgiving.
Oh.
But we
Wonderful.
have something almost as grown-worthy.
Almost as
grown-worthy. Dwayne Johnson in his bid to set up a future presidential run. Here's the headline. Dwayne Johnson visits 7-Eleven where he used to shoplift as a kid to right his wrong.
This guy cannot stay out of the fucking news for 1 second. Hey, this is where he's a shoplift. Here we go.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson is making... Oh, sorry. The article is from... Or People... written by Marissa Sullivan. Dwayne Johnson is making up for his past mistakes. The Black Adam action star over the weekend shared a video on social media. The Rock publishing his own tale of redemption. Just saying. Visited a 7-Eleven in Hawaii, which he bought out the store's supply of Snickers bars and left them for hungry customers to take for free. It wasn't just a generous move, but Johnson 50 was doing an act of redemption. So Johnson spent like, I don't know, $25.
Yeah, but these are 7-Eleven Snickers prices, so they're like $3 a pop.
What? It's a Snickers. What?
Stuff's expensive at the convenience store.
Yes, the Oahu native explained he used to go to that very 7-Eleven and steal himself king-size Snickers on his way to the gym because he couldn't afford to buy one. I was broke as hell, he explained. The same clerk was there every day, and she just turned her head and never busted me. I wonder if that'll come up in the TV show at all. Like, this is like, next week is the episode about him stealing, and I go, well played, The Rock. I feel like if you're The Rock, you could buy all the store's candy. All the candy can be bought.
They don't even have their full episode count this year yet. Oh, no. There's going to be a Christmas episode. I'll recap that one.
Okay, that's fine.
That's the December 16th episode.
Oh, no. Breaking news.
Uh-oh, breaking news here.
Okay, breaking news. From Variety, an article by Matt Donnelly. Easy Rider reboot in the works.
Fuck.
We are in trouble. I mean, it's my own fault for just complaining. Why doesn't Hollywood make films like these anymore? Well, they're just gonna remake the films like these.
They're just gonna redo it.
They're just like, all right, well, we can't think of good ideas, so let's just take the good ones and do them again, but weirdly worse. A reimagining of the classic 1969 counterculture film Easy Rider is early in development, and they're trying to update. I guess Dennis Hopper owns the rights to it, and they're working with him to do a new one.
feel like they're not going to understand the film.
Producers behind the reboot currently in search of bold writers and or directors to update the projects for modern time with the same fringe spirit.
So they don't have a writer or director?
Filmmakers used Michael B. Jordan's Creed and its relationship to Rocky as a comp for their ambitions. I don't know if, as much as I like Creed, I don't know if that's the approach you want to take.
It's also, that's a Ryan Coogler thing. It's not Michael B. Jordan. He just started the movie. I know he took over the franchise now, but that's Ryan Coogler working that fucking thing.
Yeah, like Ryan Coogler erasure. Our goal is to build upon the counterculture and freedom narrative the original left us with and give the youth of today a film that pays serious attention to their own counterculture and challenges. What is the counterculture movement these days?
TikTok? I don't know.
Yeah, what's going on TikTok where it's just like a person, but the audio I'm hearing, they've pulled from a TV show? What is that?
I don't know what TikTok is.
It's like a character mouthing along to a joke somebody else wrote for a TV show that came out 10 years ago. Like, what are we doing?
Patrick, I'm exhausted by you just explaining that to me.
I don't want the Easy Rider movie about that.
Did you hear about the Russo brothers saying they want to make because they're remaking the animated Hercules into a live-action Hercules now? Yes, I know. We have had several Hercules, and we're getting one from the Russo
just make
brothers.
It a Hercules film. Just why you don't have to base it off the Disney movie.
Well, in their interview, they said they want to serve it up for the TikTok generation, so they want to make a TikTok Hercules. And I'm like, for fuck's sake, just end this now. Just end it all now. Burn it to the ground.
How do you make a film for TikTok likers?
It's got to be 6 seconds.
The Russo brothers will figure it out.
It's just a 1-minute film.
Yeah, what the young viewers of today are experiencing in their everyday lives may seem crazy to older generations, but it can very well be... what are they experiencing?
It's so crazy growing up. It's like, whoa, I'm not learning how to ride a bike. Oh, I gotta say no to drugs. Oh, I gotta do homework tonight. What? It's all the same. We all grew up the fucking same. God. Ugh, gross. Yuck.
All right, last thoughts on Chinatown, Mr. Germini?
Wait. I've got a Watergate watch, though.
Watergate, Watergate, oh, Watergate.
Watch.
What?
Yep.
What?
What you got, Mr.
Burying
Germini?
the lead. Love it.
All the way from China, a film called Watergate Bridge.
Watergate Bridge?
Yep.
Watergate Bridge?
Is it related at all to Watergate?
No. But it is, it's got Watergate in the name, so it counts.
Well, I've got a Watergate watch too, everybody.
Watergate, Watergate, oh, Watergate.
Watch.
I was expecting this one.
This weekend I got together with former guest of the cast, Grant, and 2 of his roommates, and we played The Watergate Scandal, a card game made in 1973. That's right, they were already making a Watergate card game.
Wow, they're really up on it.
Yeah, the object of the game is basically you get dealt a bunch of cards. They read like White House aid or big campaign contributor, stuff like that. And then you will put one down and you'll say, this card is a White House aid card. And then everybody has to also put down a White House aid card, and you have to figure out if they really did it or not. They could put down a different one. But also they could accuse you of not putting down the card that you said. And whoever gets accused correctly, you then have a penalty card, and it says you're indicted or you get impeached or whatever. And then you get an amount of points, and then when you get the most points at the end, you lose. That's it. That's the whole game.
Just like classic games like Operation.
Yeah.
Don't Wake Daddy.
I found an original copy because it was never remade on eBay for $10.
Wow. Wow.
Was it fun? Good? Did you enjoy it?
It was fun enough. Grant had said that it was already a game, and this was just the Watergate version of it. And by Watergate version, just the words on the cards were Watergate related, sort of.
Like a Monopoly.
Huh. Yeah, I think they had said it was called BS or something. Maybe you just play that with an actual deck of cards, but same type of idea.
They called it Solitaire.
Listen, for not realizing what Watergate was going to become yet by the time the game was made, they did okay. All right, now our last looks. What are your last looks on this one, Mr. Germini?
Great film, classic film. For people who like film, it's got everything. The plot's tight. It's kind of a long film. I think it's 2 hours, 20 minutes or so.
10.
And it's not a terribly action-y film, but if you want to sit down and be enthralled in a mystery and watch Jack Nicholson drop some good one-liners, it's a great film.
What about you, Joe? What are your last looks?
Jack Nicholson, sexy as hell with that cut-up nose. He wears a bruise well. Yeah, I'm bathing in the warm filmography. It's just an invite every week. You're like, oh, hey, you want to watch a good movie with Jack? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, as I said at the beginning, movie just feels so refreshing. I'm not sure why Hollywood doesn't want to make these movies anymore, especially since having seen this in a theater, audiences still react to it. They're still getting something out of it, especially with an ending this crazy. I don't know. You'd get a lot of social media traction and a lot of buzz about it. It's a shame. We could do more things like this, and I'd have a better time out there, but whatever. Doctor Strange, what can you do? Why does Jack Nicholson take this movie? Well, he'd worked with Robert Towne before. They were also buddies. He got Academy Award nominated last time, didn't he?
For
Last Detail?
The Last Detail, I believe so.
Yeah, so why not take it again? It's a great role for him. It just is such in his wheelhouse. It's very emblematic of Jack Nicholson anyway, so It's a lot of fun. You're working with a talented director. He's a connoisseur of world cinema, so working with Polanski was probably a good treat for him.
He also got to hang out with Burt Young.
Gets to hang out with Burt Young, that's true.
Was that just the opening and the beginning?
Yeah.
And then the opening scene and then the ending scene.
Yeah, Burt Young just moving about.
Yeah, this is like 2 years before he hangs out with Rocky.
A little casual joke with his wife has a black eye.
God, they don't even like really address it either. I'm like, Jesus. It kind of lingers on her black eye. Yeah. Ugh.
It doesn't linger. Like, she opens the door and it's there, and then you only really see it again when he's like, hey, this is that. And she's like, I know. And it's so become like a visual gag at that point, quote unquote.
I mean, it really speaks to tying everything together.
Yeah, I tell you, it's real. This is a tight script. Definitely a script worth studying, young screenwriters out there. I'm sure you already know. I'm sure it's been taught to you, but my goodness, it's a classic for a reason. It just works. All right, I'd like to thank our guest, Mr. Jeremini, for popping by today.
Thank you for inviting me.
I'd like to thank my co-host, Joe Veckman, for hanging out with me every week.
I love it.
And Lev Van Rensselaer on the audio boards, making us sound so slippery smooth. I am your host, Patrick Scahill. You may find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at QuixoticUnited.com and social media, presumably, with a similar-sounding name. Thank you all for listening. Joe, say goodnight.
Good night.
Can I say goodnight too, or is it just a Joe thing?
Dead Snow, which is a zombie movie.
Yeah, I remember that movie too.
Nazis.
Crazy enough. Yeah, it's of the same vein though, right? This sort of...
Dead Snow 2, Red vs. Dead. The sequel you did not see coming. Yikes.
You're just going to leave What Happened to Monday unspoken?
Well, you guys are familiar with this fucking dude?
I've not heard of that movie.
What Happened to Monday? How do you know
It's
about that?
got William Dafoe in it.
Yeah, what did happen to Monday?
I mean, he's fourth billed. I can never take a fourth billed Willem Dafoe seriously because that means he could have 2 minutes of screen time.
He had some meaty role, as I recall.
All right. Oh, you've seen it?
Yeah, it was a Netflix film.
Oh, well, that's even crazier that you've seen it.
Weird cast of just randos and then Willem Dafoe and Glenn Close. It's just like...
They're the parents.
In What Happened to Monday?
Yeah. Monday perhaps is the daughter.
Yeah, so I'm going to be seeing that Friday. Hopefully it's good. I mean, I've kind of seen everything else that was in theaters that is accessible to me because, God forbid, the United States of America. Yes, I'm calling out to you, United States.
The whole thing.
Put a fucking movie, like, anywhere in the vicinity of where I live that I want to see. Nothing. It's just... There's 2 movies. Go on. Yeah.
Does the United States usually tune into the podcast? Do we know?
You have the numbers.
They do. It's not like Real Love where it's primarily Germany for some reason.
I don't know if you've seen what I've logged recently on Letterboxd, but I am going through the Home Alones. And yes, I have watched Home Alone 4 now. If you remember, it was a gag gift you gave to me one year.
You like Home Alone. I figured you'd like Home Alone starring French Stewart as Joe Pesci.
It's funny you say Joe Pesci because he is playing the other guy.
No, he's not. What? He is?
He is. I swear to God. Hold on. I gotta look up Daniel Stern, but I'm almost 100% positive because, I mean, they don't give him a last name. But in the fourth one, French Stewart plays Marv. And that is Daniel Stern's character's name.
I thought...
Whereas Joe Pesci played Harry.
You know, I hadn't seen it since I was 14, but I thought I heard him say, yeah, that's why I left that guy Marv behind. So I thought he was the Joe Pesci character.
Wait, you've seen Home Alone 4?
Yes, I accidentally caught it on CBS one Sunday evening.
How do you accidentally watch a film?
Yeah.
Well, because I was still getting used to kind of a primetime schedule, and I tuned in to my normal whatever day it aired on, and then it was just this movie instead of the stuff that it would normally, whatever sitcom it would normally be.
Yeah. Also, you're younger. You just kind of watch whatever's on. You don't really have a clue yet.
Listen, I was game for French Stewart. I'm like, sweet. Let's go.
I'm going to tell you, French Stewart is fucking awful in that movie. So everyone is turned up to like one notch where it's just like it's out of focus, and I'm like, it's just awful. It's so bad. The little kid is like, I describe, like, here's my review. Retroactively fixing my Home Alone 3 score to 1.5 stars because I originally gave the Home Alone 3 a half star because I was like, this is bad. This is just bad. Like nothing. There's nothing redeemable with that movie. Gee whiz, I didn't know how good we had it with that one. Bottom of the barrel here. Unbearable Kid actor Hall of Fame. Holy shit, Malcolm McDowell just showed up in the fifth one. What is happening? Yes, because I started watching the fifth one when I had this one on, and I turned it off because I was like, I got to start watching Chinatown.
I did not know there was a fifth one though. That's new.
No, well, there's a sixth one that just came out last year.
Whoa! This is like American Pie thing going on here now.
Yeah,
we're like, what? Really there's 9 of them? When did this happen?
They've really lost sight of what.
Does it still have that young actor in it? Or well, he's not young anymore, but
Macaulay Culkin is like 40-something years old now. They did like a little.
Right?
He's young at heart.
Macaulay Culkin did a thing a few years ago where it was like a viral video he put out of him like setting up the house like as an older guy now and like still like looking out for the bandits or something. I don't know. It was funny. I don't really remember that much.
I mean, I think the real question is what's Rory Culkin up to?
Well, we all know Kieran Culkin's like living high on the hog, right? Kieran Culkin's on what's the HBO show that everyone loves?
Euphoria.
Succession, thank you. Fucking Patrick, Euphoria? He's also a 40-year-old man.
There could be 40-year-old dudes in there. I don't know.
I hope not. Anyways, yeah, Rory Culkin, I think the last thing that was notable that he did... Jesus Christ. I mean, it looks like he just stopped acting. I think the last thing he did was Columbus. Did you see Columbus, the Coconut movie? Well, then before that, it would have been... Scream 4 in 2011.
Well, that's what you want your last film to be.
Yeah, he was also in Richie Rich. I'm sure he played younger version of Macaulay Culkin. Yeah, but we all know Rory Culkin was great in the movie in 2002, a hit thriller in August, directed by, I think he's a good director. Other people disagree sometimes. It's called Signs. You ever see Signs?
I did see Signs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the little kid in Signs.
Had aliens.
Yeah.
Only for like one scene.
Yeah, the little kid who's good at baseball.
No, wait, what? No. That's Mel Gibson's brother.
All right, Joaquin Phoenix.
Wait, Joaquin Phoenix is Mel Gibson's brother?
In Signs.
Oh, not in real life. Okay.
No.
That's why I was confused.
So, Mr. Jeremy, I watched the trailer for That 90s Show.
Oh.
Somehow they will crap out 80 episodes before we ever realize.
Yeah, Tanya sent me a preview like picture of Red and Kitty in the...
Yeah, surprise, only the old people came back. Who would have thought?
They're good, though.
Kurtwood Smith couldn't get into RoboCop 5, so he's like, all right, I'll do this.
Is it RoboCop 5 or is it 6? I don't know. It could be 5.
I thought there were only 4 Home Alones, so what do I know?
I think there's 3 RoboCops and 1 remake, so 4 films total. But
so you
count
win.
the TV show?
Whoa.
I think there's at least 1 animated show.
There is an
Possibly live
animated
action.
show. That is true.
That's crazy. They made a RoboCop.
You know, a lot of 80s movies got animated TV shows.
Ghostbusters.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice, that's right. That's a fun one. Nothing to do with the movie at all.
No.
Like, completely just, like, warps the concept of Beetlejuice.
Ace Ventura, though I guess that's not an 80s film. Is it? It's the first one 80s?
Yeah, if you're going to do that, then I'm going to say Men in Black.
Men in Black got a cartoon, that's true.
Yep. Ghostbusters?
We already said Ghostbusters. Keep on board, Mr. Jeremini. Jackie Chan Adventures kind of counts.
Do you know what should have gotten a TV show?
What?
In the 90s?
What?
Chinatown. There we go. Segue.
Sick segue, bro.
The Mask got an animated show.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The Mask. Hey, what Jim Carrey movie can we turn into a TV show?
Joe out here dropping solid gold segues, and Mr. Scahill not picking them up at all.
Fine.
Yeah,
the point of my
gold.
story is 90s show trailer opens up with just the old people dancing, and that's probably not the best way to do it. Everything else seemed pretty generic. Actually, there was not a lot of 90s references. It was just like, hey, look, it's just like the old show. Look, they're doing the pot thing in the basement. There you go.
But they don't want to ruin everything yet.
I just want to, like, trying to figure out the timeline, because the show ends in 1980, and Topher Grace now has a daughter who looks like she's 14. So is this going to take place in 94, or are you going to try to start it early in the decade and hope that you can make it 10 years? I don't know. I don't have these. That's what I wanted to know.
I believe the first season of that 70s show had a Star Wars reference in it, which means it was in 1977, and that show went on for 8 or 9 seasons.
Oh.
So
Bad move, that 70s show.
they fucked up from the beginning.
They're going to open up, and they're going to be like, President Nixon is dead. 1994, then we would know. But if they're like, if the glove don't fit, now we're in a different year. We're past the midway point.
Yeah, if they open up and they're like...
Y2K, big problem.
Yeah, fuck, you took my thing.
You're like, you got no runway. Oh, we're all going to go to the movie theater to see Ants. Can't wait for that one.
Wow, 1998.
Yeah.
Are we going to choose between Ants or A Bug's Life?
They're going to talk about Ants. They can't afford A Bug's Life references.
Well, have you considered which film is on Netflix itself? Maybe only Bug's Life is on Netflix.
No, I think that would be on Disney Plus, if I had to guess.
It has to be, right?
If I were a betting man.
I know that
I don't remember who made
Ants
which.
is on Peacock because it's a Universal movie.
I don't remember. I have not been excited to go back and see Ants since it came out, so I have no answer.
Well,
for
I'll
you.
tell you, I watched it as part of my Gene Hackman series last year. I squeezed it in on December 31st.
Good choice.
No, bad choice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who would have thought?
He's not good. He's not. It's not a good movie, and he's fine in it. He's trying.
I will do the Chinatown animated series, Joe, if you're ready.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.